The galactic community had many rules about humans. Don't let them near your engineering bay unsupervised. Don't challenge them to endurance contests. And absolutely, under no circumstances, allow their younglings near alien cubs. The results were unpredictable at best, catastrophic at worst. Station Commander Velcris should have remembered that last one. Hana wiped her brow with a soapy forearm, surveying the disaster that had once been the station's communal kitchen. She'd volunteered for dish duty after the interspecies feast, thinking it would be a quiet way to end the evening. That was before Piku arrived. The Kreshtar cub stood barely knee-high to Hana, covered in silvery fur that caught the overhead lights like starlight. His species were apex predators on their homeworld, six-limbed hunters with retractable claws and bioluminescent markings that signaled their moods. Right now, Piku's spots glowed bright orange with excitement as he clutched a bottle of dish soap like it was prey he'd personally conquered. "Piku, no!" Hana lunged, but the cub was already squeezing. A geyser of blue soap erupted, coating the counter, the floor, and somehow the ceiling. Piku's spots flashed yellow with surprise, then shifted to purple, the Kreshtar equivalent of laughter. He bolted on all sixes, soap bottle trailing bubbles like a comet's tail. "This is why your mother left you with me," Hana muttered, though she couldn't suppress her smile. She knew exactly what would happen. Captain Shira had departed for an emergency council meeting with a knowing look in her triple-pupiled eyes. The Krishtar were testing humanity's suitability as allies, and apparently childcare was part of the evaluation. Most species couldn't handle Kreshtar cubs. Their predatory instincts and pack dynamics overwhelmed even experienced caretakers. Humans, it turned out, were different. Hana cornered Piku near the industrial sink. "All right, troublemaker. You want to help? Let's actually help." She lifted the cub, all 4 kilograms of wriggling, purring chaos, and set him on the counter. Piku's ears swiveled forward with interest. His bioluminescent spots shifted to soft green. Curiosity. "See these dishes?" Hana held up a plate, one of the ceramic types the herbivore delegates preferred. "We wash them like this." She demonstrated with exaggerated slowness, narrating each step. "Water, soap, just a little, scrub, rinse." Piku watched with the intensity his ancestors had once reserved for stalking prey across the savanna seas of Kreshta Prime. When Hana handed him a small sponge, he gripped it in 2 of his paws and immediately tried to eat it. "No, no, no, not food." Hana gently redirected his paws to a plate. "Scrub, like this." What happened next would become the subject of 3 academic papers and 1 viral galactic holovid. Piku scrubbed. His motor control wasn't perfect. 2 plates ended up on the floor, and he got distracted trying to catch soap bubbles midair. But he worked with single-minded determination. When he successfully cleaned a cup, his spots blazed gold with pride, and he released a subsonic purr that rattled the utensils in their drawer. Hana worked beside him, washing while Piku helped with the rinsing. He discovered that spray setting on the faucet could create rainbows and spent 5 minutes entranced, his spots cycling through colors in time with the shifting light. "You're supposed to rinse the dishes, not contemplate the nature of light," Hana said, but her tone was fond. The real challenge came when Piku noticed the soap had escaped again. The bottle had rolled under the storage unit, and the cub's predatory instincts kicked in immediately. His spots went crimson, hunting mode. He dropped to his belly, all 6 limbs splayed, and began the stalk. "Piku, it's just soap." Too late. The cub pounced with a hunter's cry that was adorable and terrifying in equal measure. He slid across the soapy floor, crashed into the storage unit, and emerged victorious with the bottle clamped in his jaws. Hana couldn't help it. She laughed. The sound echoed through the kitchen, and Piku's spots exploded in a kaleidoscope of colors. He bounded over, dropped the soap at her feet like a trophy, and chirped expectantly. "Good job, little hunter." Hana scratched behind his ears, right where Shira had shown her Kreshtar cubs liked it best. Piku's purr could have powered a small ship. They returned to the dishes, establishing a rhythm. Hana washed, Piku rinsed with variable success, and together they created more bubbles than strictly necessary. When other station residents passed by, they stopped to stare. A human and a Kreshtar cub, working in harmony, covered in soap suds and clearly enjoying themselves. Ambassador Trell of the Concordance paused longest. His species, the Ythrin, were renowned for their childcare institutions. He'd publicly questioned humanity's ability to handle aggressive species younglings. He watched Piku accidentally spray himself in the face, squeak with indignation, then immediately do it again, this time on purpose, spots flashing with glee. Impossible, Trell muttered, but his membranes flickered with what might have been respect. By the time Captain Shira returned, the kitchen was clean. Well, mostly clean. There were still bubbles clinging to the ceiling, and the floor remained suspiciously slippery, but every dish gleamed. Piku had fallen asleep in the empty sink, curled into a ball with the sponge clutched to his chest. His spots pulsed soft blue. Contentment, trust, safety. Shira's ears pricked forward as she surveyed the scene. "He didn't bite you?" "He tried to eat a sponge," Hana admitted. "Does that count?" With previous caretakers, he drew blood within 10 minutes. The captain's tail swished. Amusement, surprise. The Concordance said humans were too soft for predator bonding, too emotional, too gentle. Hana gently scooped up the sleeping cub. Piku stirred, wrapped forepaws around her arm, and resumed purring. "Maybe gentle is what cubs need, even predator cubs." Shira's spots cycled through colors Hana was still learning to read, but she thought one of them might be approval. "The elders will want to hear of this. Humans who can turn dish duty into a bonding ritual. Perhaps your species is stranger than we thought." "Strange enough to be friends?" Hana asked hopefully. The captain's spots flashed gold. "Strange enough to be pack." As Hana carried Piku to the quarters, leaving a trail of soap bubbles and interspecies understanding in her wake, she didn't notice the message being transmitted across the galactic networks. Humanity Assessment Update. Demonstrate unprecedented ability to weaponize domestic chores for cross-species bonding. Recommend alliance status. Also recommend keeping them away from cleaning supplies. The results are effective but unpredictable. The soap, finally at rest on the counter, seemed to gleam with satisfaction. Its work here was done.